enjoyed that little no voice introduction. I didn't know what I was gonna say, so I just didn't say anything at all. But obviously, with the little introduction, they were talking about morality. Um, I think I have my idea of what morality is. I think everyone has their own idea of like what morality is and if it's subjective or not. But I hope we all know that morality is subjective because not everyone thinks that the same thing is good or the same thing is bad. And then we have like the literal definition of morality, like what is morality, like the Oxford definition, which is what I put here, which is principles concerning the distinction between right, wrong, or good and bad behavior. Now, I like this definition. Obviously, it's like baseless. It's like just not baseless. It's like the basic definition of what morality is. But then, how do you define good and bad? Like, what is good and bad? What is right and wrong? What would you use to like describe morality and whatnot? And then I think we have to like go into people's behaviors and what if something's good, bad. Does it come from the beginning of the situation or the end or the middle? What do we look at when we think of right and wrong? And should we have all the same like basis of what morality is, or is it okay to have different bases of morality in the society that we live in? So I'm gonna use like different examples of where morality comes in, with like different examples of people with different moralities, and what would you pick in that situation and stuff like that. Next thing I want to talk about is subjective morality. Now, subjective morality here, the again like literal basic definition of what subjective morality is the view that moral judgment depends on individual feelings, opinions, or cultural context rather than universal truths. So someone who's Christian might have a different moral code to someone who's a Muslim because they believe in two different things. They grew up in two different cultures, grew up in two different, lifestyles and everything. So they wouldn't believe in a same moral code, or their moral code wouldn't align as well with each other because they're two different people. And it doesn't even have to be religion. It has to be a lot of different things. Like where you grow up. Like if someone grows up, you know, with a drug addict and then someone who doesn't grow up with a drug addict, they might see things differently on how to deal with drugs and how to like deal with addiction and abuse and what it means to be a drug addict. Like what do you really think it means to be a drug addict? It might be different for both of them. It it's a lot. It takes a lot for people to realize a moral code. Experiences affect moral code a lot. If you experience something, you might think differently of that experience to someone who hasn't experienced it. Someone who has experienced it might think of it lightly. You might not because you had a bad experience with it, or you had a good experience with it. Depends. Like morality is subjective. That's the truth. No one thinks the same as anyone else. It's the same way like no two people are the same. Even twins. Like twins are obviously biologically they're the same, but mentally are they always going to be the same? No, because they're two different people. Whether we like it or not, obviously scientifically they are the same person genetically, but like mentally, we can't say they're the same person. Um, I think religion is a very good basis for like morality and everything. Like I'm a Buddhist. I believe in Buddha, and I think that for me, moral code, I separate my Buddhism from my like humanity. Like I don't always think that using religion for a basis of morality is a good thing, because if we use religion for the basis of everything that we do in life, then it's not really us that believes in it, it's someone else. We didn't write the Bible, we didn't write the Quran, we didn't write the Torah, we didn't write any of these books. We're just listening to stories that have been told from other people's perspectives. So it's secondhand morality. It's not what we actually experience, it's someone else's experience. And then also using your own experiences can be very bad for you because you experience something different to someone else. You don't understand them in the way they understand themselves, or you get what I mean? It's difficult talking about morality and like whether or not it is, you know, easy to use in especially like law of court, like court of law, sorry. Um that's why I'm gonna go into a deeper example of like the death penalty. Because they're talking about the death penalty now, whether we should bring it back or not. Now, in my eyes, in the Buddha side of me, I don't think we have the right to say if we can kill someone or not. That we don't, as human beings, I don't think, in the Buddhist part of me, every life is sacred. Um, everyone deserves a chance at living. And as humans, do we really have the right to decide whether or not someone deserves to go and die? But then the more, I don't want to say intellectual part of me, because I don't think it has anything to do with intelligence, religion, or anything like that. I don't think it has anything to do with that. But the more, I don't know what word to use for it, but the other side of me would think, yes, we have a right to decide who lives on this earth at this point, because who else is going to do it for us? God might not be real, and if he is, I don't think he's going to come down and kill people for us because they're bad people. Because obviously, God is meant to be a self-righteous person, not self-righteous, judgmental in a good way. Define good. God is meant to be that the judge of the world. So if he does, like, he's not going to do it for us, so we might as well do it for ourselves. We can't just let, like, the fact that we as humans see each other as humans cloud our judgment from whether or not we should take control of who we are. Like, I don't know how to describe it, because we are humans, and because we know each other and we know our own species so well, I think we're the best judge of character for ourselves. I think if we're going to give the death penalty to someone, obviously there should be like a legal process through it. We shouldn't just like, oh yeah, because you murder someone, you're going to have to get murdered yourself. No, I don't think that should be it. But if someone is going to get the death penalty, it should be a legal process for it. We should see, like, there should be a percentage of, like, there should be a tick box or something of, like, how badly the crime was committed, when it was committed, have they repented, can we give them counseling to do this, can we give them the service to do this, can we just put them in jail for a long time so that eventually they will die and we won't have to just kill them immediately. We have to have a tick box, and it has to come out of a certain number for us to say, okay, definitely need to have the death penalty, or else we're just killing people. Because if the death penalty is supposed to come back, if we do get it back, and we don't have a system of how it's supposed to go, multiple people are going to die in the first year of us having that death penalty. And that's going to be very dangerous, because it will look like tyrannical, the fact that the government is just killing people off because now they have the right to do so. You see what I mean? I think there should be a legal process, and it has to go through multiple courtrooms for it to actually be accepted that this person needs to die. It has to. And I feel like the death penalty is such a bleak place, because some people say, oh, we don't have the right to decide if someone needs to die or not. Well, who's going to do it for us? Who's actually, and even now we kind of have the death penalty, because when someone is sentenced to life, that technically means they're going to die there. We've already given them the death penalty, a very sad and slow death penalty in jail. Like, the death penalty in 100 and to life, or 100 years, the only difference is one is instant and the other is through a long period of time. Like, the only thing is time. That's the only difference between both of them. And if people are going to argue that the death penalty, we don't have the right to do it, then why do we put people in prison for life? Like, we might as well just get rid of that punishment and, give them community service. Like, you need to, for us to bring back the death penalty, and for us to talk about the morality of the death penalty, I think we need to remember that we can't bring religion, we can't bring our own experience. We have to look at the person who we think deserves this, eye to eye, look at what they've done, ask the people that they've done these things to, if it was a human on human crime. You have to look at it properly and say, does this person deserve to die? Are they a danger to human society? Are they a danger to the rest of us? Would you feel comfortable knowing that this person is still walking around alive, knowing that what they can do? Would you feel comfortable with that? Would anyone feel comfortable with that? That's the question that we need to ask. Not if God, or if we like it or not. No, not if God, or if, my experience is the same as that. That's not what we need to look at. We need to look at the bigger scope of things. If humanity would benefit from this person still being alive. I think that's what the death penalty and subjective morality has to do with the law. What I'm talk about is abortion. I know abortion is a very bleak topic for people, because obviously people who are religious, or people who value human life, believe that abortion should not be legal. It should be illegal for you to kill another human being. It should be illegal for you to get rid of a baby, like an oncoming baby. I personally, I think abortion should be legal, not because it's a woman's body, not because, you know, people make choices and decisions. What if it was a woman that got raped? I don't think we should have to go so far to say rape for us to decide whether or not abortion should be legal. Right now, the general definition for abortion is the medical or surgical termination of pregnancy before the fetus can survive outside the uterus. If you are religious, you believe that abortion should be illegal because, or if you're a certain type of religion, you believe that abortion is illegal because, you know, it's a baby. You think it's murder. You think it's a baby. It's a baby. It's a living creature. Why would you kill a living creature? Why would you get rid of something like that? And my question to you is, then why do we eat animals? Animals are living creatures too. Some people are vegan and they believe killing anything at all is wrong. Some people they believe that killing anything that's living, dead, no, just living is wrong. That it's not right. Then why do we eat plants? Plants are alive. Sure, they don't have organs, but they're living creatures. They're living organisms. They're not inanimate objects. I mean, yes, they are inanimate objects, but they're inanimate objects that have a life source which is oxygen, which is water, hydrogen. They have all these. They're literally living organisms. So why do we eat them? They're still the earth. They're still the earth itself. So why do we eat them? And then, again, back to the religious people, abortion for you is murder because apparently a fetus is a baby. A fetus is not a baby. The time that abortion happens, in fact, let me just look this up. When is it legal to get an abortion? Okay. So for the UK, abortion laws is okay. Let me just move that. What that is. Okay. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm not able to get this up. Exactly. Okay, what are the UK abortion laws? The Abortion Act happened in 1967. That's when abortion became legal in England, Scotland, and Wales. That is just the whole of the UK. That's a good portion of the UK. The pregnancy has not exceeded its 24th week. So from 24th week, that's not a baby. That is a fetus. A fetus is not, I'm not trying to say it's not alive. It's not a conscious being. I think abortion has to be defined by consciousness. If it's able to, communicate in a way, should I say communicate? I mean, communicate in a certain type of movement that we as human beings know what it's doing, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but abortion, my opinion on abortion is that it should be legal. It should be legal for you to decide whether or not you want to be a parent. Pregnancies happen on accident. People get pregnant on accident and they don't want it. They just don't want it. And I think it's lesser of the two evils to have someone not have that baby. How many orphans are there on earth that were mistaken pregnancies, and because their parents or their mom in general just couldn't abort them? It's sad, but it's the truth. Just couldn't abort them. Now they're lonely kids in an orphanage. I think it's lesser of the two evils that too many people suffer from the birth of a child, and it's the truth. We can't keep pretending like children are the biggest blessing on earth, because they're not. They're not. Children are a workload. They're a force. They cost money, time, energy, mental and intellectual care. They're the whole reason that people go bankrupt. People lose money. That people end up being broke at the end of the day because they had kids that they didn't even want, and because we're not allowed to choose whether or not we have them. Now, we're messing up kids' lives. I think, as me, I would rather that if I got pregnant and I know I can't raise this kid, I know I don't want this child, I know I will not love this child the way that it needs to be loved, I know myself, I would rather abort it. I do not need to have it at the back of my head that I gave birth to a child, gave them away, and now they live on their own, not knowing who their mother is. I'd rather not have that in the back of my head. And maybe that's just to make me happy. But if it's to make me happy, fine. And then back to the biological sense of it, a fetus scientifically is not a human being yet. It is not a fully grown. It's like a bunch of stem cells. It's the things that we use when people have this bone marrow. The bone marrow inside us is stem cells. That's the same thing that's in a woman's womb before the 24th week. Like that is what's in our bones. So you're saying that every time people take bone marrow, stem cells out of us, that's killing something? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Before the 24th week, it is not at least physically able to live outside of the womb, which means that it might as well not be human. It shouldn't count as human. And people try to use the consciousness argument. What is consciousness? What is it? The state of knowing that you're alive, state of being. But then when we're asleep, do we count that as being conscious? We're subconscious, people say, but then is that really conscious? Like, we're in a state of not being conscious. We're saying being dead and being alive, in the sense of like how if our brains are awake or not. But our brains are awake. So what is really consciousness? You can't just say that's something that's like, whenever religious people or people who are humanitarians argue that it is still a baby before the 24th week, they're not thinking scientifically, and that's the problem. Christians' argument is, Christians try to argue saying, there's this quote in the Bible, before you were born, I knew you. That's God. You cannot tell me as a religious person that you're going to force your religion into other people's lives. This is the main way you're doing it. It should be legal and it should be a choice. I'm telling you, if we made abortion legal in every single country, everywhere in the world, and people did start getting more abortions, I feel like that wouldn't actually be a bad thing. There would still be people who wouldn't want to get those abortions, but it's better to give people the choice than to not give them the choice, because they'll find other ways to do it. This is like, abortion is just a safer way of doing things. Like, y'all do not think that they were doing this back in like the day, like early 1900s, people were putting wires down their stomachs and up their bums, like, to get rid of babies. Like, that was the way they were actively nearly killing themselves to kill something they didn't want, because it was not legal. In fact, it wasn't even invented, I don't think, before then. It's so weird. Like, abortion's always been around. People have always been killing babies. Like, this isn't new. It's just a safer way of doing things. Let me not say killing babies. They've always been killing fetuses, stem cells. But this isn't new. Like, this isn't new. And also, you have to go through 2 doctors to get this abortion. You have to go to 2 doctors telling you, okay, this is fine. And there's a criteria for this. There's a criteria. If the mom or the baby is going to die, have physical disabilities, it's possible to get the abortion. Mental disabilities, again, get the abortion, Now, that isn't the case. If you want an abortion and you are perfectly sane, it's possible to get one, but you still have to go to, like, 2 doctors, I think. 2, maybe? Yeah. But the thing is, it's better to give everyone the option than to give no one the option, because people will still find a way. It's not like you just cut all the end looses. They'll just find more dangerous ways to do it. Like, they'll just find more dangerous ways to do it. This is the healthier option for them, so women don't die, like, trying to get rid of the baby. But it's just crazy, and I hate how people always have to go through the extremes, saying, oh, so if a little girl got raped, is that the only reason you want abortion to be legal? Because a little girl is going to get raped? Like, do we really have to go to the extremes to get something so simple done? That says a lot about the people on the receiving end of that question. Not even the person that's saying it, the person on the receiving end. Because the person that's saying it is just trying to get you to understand. But the fact that they have to go through the extremes of saying a little girl getting raped for you to even comprehend something like this says a lot about you. Because if you have to think of the worst scenario on earth to like an opinion, or to even be able to say abortion is a human right. You can't tell me it's not a human right. The right to have a kid is a human right. If you want to have another human being in your life, raise another human being, it is a right. We have the right to have kids, to have contraceptives. We have the right for all of that. Why can't we have the right to say no to kids? Why can't we have the right to say, no, I don't want to have a child. No, I don't think I can have a child. Why don't we have those rights? I think that's just it. Why don't we have those rights? It's a basic human right. And the fact that we have to go through such extreme measures to get something so simple done says a lot about the other end of people who don't want this. A lot about you guys. Because it's better to give people the option than to give no one the option.